Alright, y'all, so still a whole lot going on in the TCG, collectibles, Pokemon, and everything else space. And today, the conversation on Collect Decks, which is an index of all types of collections that they're trying to scam us out of. Today, that's the subject, is how they're trying to scam our collections, right? So there's a couple different things going on in the space, and you know, sometimes TikTok can be the best source of news and information you can find, because a lot of times it's up to date, minute to minute. It's happening like right there, so a lot of times that's kind of the best place. So I came across this TikTok video, which this is like kind of a series of this lady. If you guys have TikTok, go check her out. I think her name is London's Notebook, and she's talking about her collectible card submissions, Pokemon mostly, and sports cards, that she submitted into PSA. And again, I found this video on TikTok. I've watched part of the series, but I haven't seen this video to fully understand her situation. So we can watch on this video together, and you know, we'll go through some of the stuff that she's talking about, try to break it down. So let's get started.
Money to have cards sent out. I'm talking about six Pokemon cards that were from when we were children. We couldn't afford to replace them even if we wanted to. My husband submitted 2 tickets, 6 Pokemon cards in one order, and the second was 18 sports cards to all be sent out to be graded with PSA. We used GameStop for the first time ever. You don't want to do that. GameStop, I really would love to talk to you. I'll be calling corporate on Monday because I am not going to be silent on this. And if you're a serious collector in this.
So basically, she's saying that she submitted a bunch of things to PSA through GameStop. That's all she said thus far.
Space like we are. This is our hobby. I'm talking to my people who get it. So my husband gets a phone call today because both of these submissions have passed the 60 days. Corporate GameStop calls him and basically says, yeah, your first ticket of those 6 Pokemon cards is lost.
Okay, so they lost their Pokemon order. And is that even you know, like when I think about GameStop, we all have this love-hate relationship with GameStop. We all love to go to GameStop to look at games, but all hated GameStop when they ripped us a new booty hole when we were trying to sell them some of our stuff so that we can get some more stuff, right? Yeah, I think we all have that experience. But you know, it's been an escalation of GameStop's ladder of how they operate and rip us all off. But let's continue watching.
Crushes
this current escalation.
I call in GameStop and I say, I'm going to speak on behalf of my husband. I want to speak to the district manager. I want to understand what has happened, because I look up your policy, GameStop, and it says that you're supposed to offer us the fair market value for our cards if they are in fact
they're supposed to pay.
Lost in transit. The store manager had to call me back 3 times, an inconvenience back and forth as he spoke to the district manager. He called me back. He spoke to the district manager. He called me back. She didn't have the time of day to call me. And the last time he calls me and says, well, she can't talk to you because they weren't submitted under your name. I said,
so number one, that's so unprofessional. You're talking about a district manager and a manager. She didn't mention how much the amount was here, but you know, the way she's talking, it kind of makes you feel that, you know, we're talking about upwards of 5 figures, right? It can't, like, over 10K. There's no way it could be less than that, because she's saying it's unaffordable, it's unattainable. You know, I wonder what cards they were. She hasn't mentioned. But you know, but how unprofessional in terms of GameStop not, you know, giving this lady the correct information, or just not knowing what's going on, right? Usually when people are calling back and forth is because they have no idea what's happening. So anyways, let's continue.
That's fine. So then me and my husband had to come in person so that, the manager could see that he's given me verbal consent to be the communicator on this. We say we want the tracking number to prove that they actually left GameStop. Store manager tells me that he saw the footage of FedEx picking them up and they did leave, but they can't give me the tracking number because their GameStop system does not provide it. I tell the district manager this on the phone and she says, well, that's not true because this GameStop's on a military post and he doesn't have access to the camera. So that's not possible unless he knew someone at police that said that, saw that, but he could not pull up the tracking number. And then I said, I want transparency here. I want to understand because the value that's being offered, I want to make sure it's truly fair because we will not get these cards back. We can't afford to even purchase these cards for the true value of what they are out there. Again, these are cards from our childhood. Submit a card with GameStop. Initially, they'll take photographs and they'll take documentation on everything to be sent out to PSA. And that paperwork goes with them. They choose the carrier FedEx. I say, I want a copy of that original paperwork. GameStop says, we can't give you that. We don't have it. Can't give me the tracking and you can't give me the paperwork for transparency. Then my husband has a second submission that was sent out at the same time of baseball cards. And in our GameStop app, there is no tracking on that either. And I'm told that I have to call corporate.
So their whole order was
do not submit your cards with GameStop. GameStop, I would love to talk to you. I have a little soapbox here. This is a big deal. People like me, this is a serious hobby. These cards were really important and we trusted in your process. You took my property and you chose the carrier and you sent it out in the world. And how is it the store manager tells me, yeah, I saw the footage, but the district manager says that's not even possible. And I finally get the tracking number today, and there was nothing in the system. An hour later, mysteriously from March, the tracking then says that it's somewhere over yonder, and my husband calls, but he's told, well, you're not on the account, it's GameStop, so we can't give you any information, and they hang up on him. While I was in the store speaking with the district manager, there was a gentleman who came in where his cards were also in this box that mysteriously just disappeared into thin air. And he was telling my husband the value that they were offering him was not even close. He had cards in there that were worth like $5,500, $2,500 a piece. What happens is when your cards get lost with GameStop, guess what? PSA is going to look at the paperwork they submitted with those photographs, and then they're going to give you what they think is fair. Again, we submit it.
Okay, so, this is the same story that you see over and over and over with this PSA stuff, right? They either, you submit a card and they lose it and they say, hey, we'll give you a value that is the market value, but that value is less than, or like they just damage your card and then pay you pennies on the dollar and other things like that. So this isn't far off track from what PSA and GameStop is kind of known for at the moment already. So, like I kind of get this lady's thing. Let's see who this lady actually even is. London's Notebook, which, okay, she has over 600,000 followers on TikTok. So she's not a little creator. She's actually a creator that has some clout. So kind of interesting that PSA and GameStop, not that they knew who they were dealing with, but this is how PSA and GameStop operate, the thing is, there's no shortages of scams these days, right? What sucks is that it's the corporations and the big conglomerates and things like that who always promised you service excellence and professionalism and integrity and all these things, and they're the ones that just don't care anymore. They're taking everybody for what it's worth. So it's really a dog-eat-dog world right now. You're gonna get scammed by the scalpers outside. You're gonna get scammed by these big corporations that pretend like they're here to serve you, but they're not. Last week or the week before, I did another video about a guy that opened up a whole base set booster box and sent it into PSA. He sent in all the hits to PSA and he got no higher than 7s. You want to know why? That's because if it gets higher than a 7, the pay scale on that, the value on that jumps significantly by thousands. And And remember, these are brand new cards from base set booster box, so there's no way they shouldn't be like 9s and 10s, right? But that's what PSA does because they don't want to flood the market with any more 10s or very high value cards, or for whatever the reason, they're trying to control the market, obviously. But if those types of scams weren't enough, um, I got one other guy that's talking about scams. Even though a lot of people feel a certain way about him, his name is, of course, Nostalgianomics, the Indubitable. And this guy's content, man, I already know what he's gonna talk about here. But let's just play this so that you guys can see.
All right, let's talk about some of these schemes.
He's talking about schemes and scams too as well. So.
What's going on? So, at first glance, people are saying, wow, Phantasmal Flames must be dropping. No, this is clearly a scam. You're saying, Alex, how do you know this is a scam? You're just upset prices are dropping. Prices are not dropping. Everyone else is still listed over $400. Well, Alex, they're just trying to, liquidate their things. Why do you call it a scam? I'll tell you why I call it a scam. At face value, it looks like this account's really strong, 96.6% positive feedback, been on a TCG player 2 years, bunch of 5 stars. But when you start digging, you can see all of their recent sales are all 1 star, never sent the items. Seller sent faulty tracking. I ordered from the seller 27 days ago, never received my items. Product was never shipped, so on and so forth. So again, I don't know what's going on with the seller. I don't know if they were hacked or if they're trying to do some exit scheme, but they've obviously changed up their MO because they were a 100% positive feedback seller, and now all of a sudden they're getting all 1-star reviews, not sending the items, sending faulty tracking. And so, in my opinion, I would not take advantage of this listing. You're likely not going to get your product. Now,
this is very interesting, actually. What do you think that is? That's like almost like, I wonder if that's like somebody bought a TCG player account from somebody just to flood the market with products that don't exist. 24 booster boxes. That's gonna drop the price on TCG player, right? Because it goes by averages, and then a bunch of people buy. You don't necessarily have to cancel their order because they're gonna complain, like, "Hey, I never got my stuff," and then from there, it doesn't really matter because kind of the market damage has been done already, right? Because you already flooded the market with products that don't exist just to bring down the price in the data. So I don't know, that at first glance, that's just all that just rushed to my head. I don't know if that's true, but let's continue.
Are you going to lose your money? No, TCG player is going to end up refunding you, once you go ahead and complain. But at the end of the day, why lock money up? Why try to do this when you can just prod around a little bit and realize clearly a scam? What's funny is the same seller is doing the same thing with Prismatic Evolutions, right? They listed 44 ETBs at 155 when everyone else is clearly up at 170. Again, same seller, same thing. They did the same thing with Ascended Heroes. They just listed 96 ETBs at 140. Obviously, the market is not 140 on Ascended Heroes. When you go look around a little bit, you realize, okay, everyone else is up at 160. Why is he charging $20 less? Is he trying to liquidate? No, you look at his account. He's not actually sending the items. So pay attention to things like that, guys. More and more of this is going to happen as we get further, deeper and deeper into this bull run, as more and more people try to do scummy things like this. Again, Poke Trainer Ed TCG, hey, no hate. Maybe your account got hacked. Maybe they're the hack.
His account could be hacked as well. But I don't think that changes the premise, right? This is kind of market manipulation, is it? I wonder if those numbers, 55 ETBs there, I wonder if those numbers make sense to be market manipulation.
Hackers are doing this, I don't know. Either way, though, it's not good. Guys, pay attention to this stuff happening. Next up, the Mega Gengar. Remember how I made a video just yesterday telling you guys how this card would be manipulated down? Well, surprise, surprise, Chicago Collecticon has ended, and what happened? Oh, and now it's all to the moon. There's one listing left here at $1,755, and then it goes to $2,000. Huh. So did people, make a bunch of faulty sales and manipulate the market price down? Did they maybe pick up a bunch of these cards at Collecticon, and then maybe bought up a bunch of the lower ones, and now it's a $2,000 card? Oh, and by the way, somebody's already paid $1,750 for it, when this was always what, a $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 card. Funny how that works, isn't it? But nothing suspicious here. I mean,
guys, that is crazy. So he's basically saying what I said, but he's kind of in this scenario, it's the opposite, because this is for the price to go up. I feel like for the other Ascended Heroes and the Phantasmal Flames, it's for the price to go down. I don't know, but he's pretty much saying that.
I mean, the Umbreon VMAX, right, from Evolving Skies is barely a $2,000 card. The Sunbreon from Prismatic Evolutions is only a $1,400 card. Heck, the Gengar VMAX Alt-Art is not even $1,000. You got the Team Up Gengar Mimikyu. This card is from Team Up, a $10,000 booster box set. Heck, that card's not even $2,000. Even a Gengar EX from Phantom Forces in XY era, what, 12-year-old set, $10,000 booster box and more. Even that card's only $816. But hey, this makes sense, guys. Trust me, this makes sense. Trust me, bro. Buy the Gengar 1750. It could never possibly come down and send you heroes to the moon, all that good stuff. I get it. Just be careful, guys. Be careful getting lost in the madness. That's all I got to say about that. Another example of some things going on. You have this seller here. You know, he gets the buy box. It makes it look like Paldean Fates bundles are actually $12.25 when you use them research. And you're like, oh, he's a 63% seller. He's got 11 sales. You look at his feedback. Same thing. Avoid seller. Receive full refund, but never received order. Seller canceled without reason. Canceled order. Avoid the seller. So it's all the same stuff, guys. You know, the market price isn't actually $12.25. It's actually a $1,450 bundle. But people are continuously trying to do this, whether it be trying to manipulate things down or do buyouts to manipulate up. This is happening now in a much larger scale than it used to before. So just understand these things when you're going to either buy or sell your items, because it's happening more and more. With that being said, getting into my thoughts on the market and what I'm doing, I am definitely much more cautious than I was back in Stellar Crown Surging Sparks. When you go watch my videos from, what, a year and a half or more ago, I was gung-ho, I was all in, baby. And I was getting a lot of criticism for being so bullish. But at the beginning of a bull market, that's when you want to be the most bullish. None of the momentum's happening. None of the momentum has happened yet. No one has, all the eyes haven't caught it. All the masses haven't moved in and started to take advantage. And so it was so much easier. It was such an obvious play to start moving in on Surging Sparks and Prismatic Evolutions and all these sets that were released in the last year. But now that we're seeing things come out of the gate so hot, that we're seeing things get so heavily, bought and, all these crazy little schemes going on, it's making me a lot more cautious, thinking that.
So, this part of Nostalgianomics videos, the beginning of this video was great. Nostalgianomics, shout out, because I really don't like this guy's videos much. It's like just like a lot of shilling, in my opinion. And that first part of the video was great information, great presentation. This part, he's just gonna rant on how he's not buying into things, and but this is Nostalgianomics. He's never gonna be out of Pokemon. His mindset is different than maybe people like me and you, but he does this often, like, oh, I'm not buying anymore, or then like he'll have other videos where, oh, I'm all in, I'm gonna buy everything I can, like I don't fall for that type of those parts of the videos. But look, guys, shout out to Destined Rivals, still one of the best sets ever. Let me get ripped on this Destined Rivals, as I always usually do. I've opened over 100 of these packs, and literally nothing has hit for me. Okay, and I bet you this is another dud pack here, and it is a dud pack. Yeah, absolutely nothing ever comes out for me out of Destined Rivals. And when I say nothing, I really mean the Mewtwo, the Ho-Oh, the Garchomp, and a couple others that I would love to have. Anyways, guys, if you stayed this long, you want to support the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you like this cool American flag, One Piece, Jolly Roger flag, go to the link in my description. They're on sale right now. I think we're free shipping, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.